Crazy Dog Audio Theatre presents Marsyas, the Hippest Satyr, by Gregg.
This is a tale from the time of the gods, the ancient Greek ones, no less true than any others you care to mention. Now Zeus was the king of these ancient Greek gods. A big white beard and a big white robe, on a big gold throne, up in the sky, with his all-seeing eye. The father of all, the big daddy of everything, laying down the law. The law was not all Zeus lay down. He also lay down with almost every spirit feminine. And so were born his countless offspring, mortal and divine. That's what you can do when you is God, and your thunderbolt is erect all the time.
Zeus with his wondrous thunderbolt, firm and erect, thunderbolt. Zeus was king.
From out of Zeus's frowning frontal lobes, in divine scholarly robes, was born his daughter, Athena.
The goddess of wisdom.
Athena was the smartest of all the gods.
Excuse me, if I am so smart, why amn't I in charge of everyone?
Well, it just goes to show you. You can be the wisest, but that doesn't make you the boss.
Indeed.
Maybe Athena took the better part of Zeus's brain with her when she busted out of his Sky King's skull. For to create and innovate and improve the groove, gray-eyed Athena knew it all. Because, with every great idea she conceived,
there it was.
She had the idea to tame the horse.
And there it was.
She had the idea of dancing to music.
And there it was.
She had the idea of the dynamic, romantic, climatic, chromatic, harmonic horn.
And there it was.
Waiting for blowing breath to bring it.
Life.
It sang with the sound hidden for eons in the inscrutable mystic mouth of the void, the sonic secrets of serene star song. It whispered, swooned, soothed, brushing away the furrows with each deep, slow breath. Under its melodic influence, everything made perfect sense. But wisdom's serenity was shattered when Athena heard the callous, malice, mocking laughter.
My small-minded divine rivals were having great fun, saying the horn was making my face as round as my bum.
Yes, Aphrodite and Hera were cackling like hyenas, pouring scorn on the horn of celestial Athena. They were shallow, small-minded, bitchy, and vain. They took great delight in making it plain that Athena's bulging face was a disgraceful sight.
And one peek at my cheeks, and I knew they were right.
Though she knew the subterfuge only amused spiteful Queen Hera. And Aphrodite, well, she was just flighty, behind rouge and mascara. Still, Athena refused to endure their abuse.
The wise thing to do, I thought, was to set this horn loose.
And so, she took the beautiful, harmonious horn of wisdom, filled with the music of the stars, and first cursed it with a self-fulfilling prophetic curse worthy of ancient Greek tragedy.
Let every breath blown through my heavenly horn also quite magically inflate the ego of the player in a self-agranding, expanding, pell-mell swell of gloating, bloating. Me. It's all about meanness. Until the distance from their ear to ear is an egocentric light year, a big-head expanse, fatally doomed to burst like a delusional balloon.
Then Athena threw her cursed horn down from the shrouded heights of immortal Olympus, down into a crystalline, pristine, still pool, near where mere mortals were wont to tread, where it came to rest on the subaquan bed, glistening, beckoning, as the darts of the sun struck its fluid wrap.
I would never play that cursed horn again, and woe betide anyone who did.
Now, the lowly brute destined to make that horn toot was off on a revelrous run with one of Zeus's divine sons. The gods so hipped and tripped, so flamboyantly flipped, so supernaturally equipped to whip every excess to splurging surfeit of spinning infinity, that new words had to be heard just to describe his divinity. Words like frenzy, revelry, ecstasy. This god was Dionysus, able to transport mere mortals through transcendental portals to psychedelic dimensions of clearly, weirdly, wondrous pretensions. He knew what no one else knew but what everyone wanted to know. The precious secret formulations of consciousness-altering libations. In other words, he knew how to distill alcohol. And that was important.
And everywhere that Dionysus went, he gathered the crazed, dazed, phased, hazed, and haggard. In his hypnotic trance of psychotic dance, they staggered. Organic, manic nymphs, even matter-fatter satyrs, long gone, totally bombed fawns, and head-banging centaurs, and wild, whirling, mayonnaise women with snakes writhing round their arms, whirling the ivy wreaths, the thrisis of ecstatic Dionysus!
Let's all follow Dionysus! Come on, man! Take off your clothes, man!
Rapturous ecstasy on the brink of insanity. Carnival regalia of carnal genitalia. Lustful feasts, primal beasts. No pain, no shame, no wrong, no right. Gorging, greedy, seedy appetites. Untenable decibels to wake the dead. Drumming and dancing and drinking reason right out of their heads.
Like we are all one, and we can all be so happy, man, if we just let go and love everybody. I love you! Oh, yeah!
Now, among the ratty-tatty rabble was a ravaged, savage satyr named Marsyas.
Hello, baby. You know what I like. Get down.
Oh, yeah. Marsyas was a satyr like any other. He danced and drank with Dionysus's crusty crew. His instincts were but few, and all of them basic.
Very basic.
When he wasn't drinking, dancing, or drumming, or on the foul prowl slumming for some manner of sex partner, he was sleeping.
Hey, what else is there to a satyr's life?
But then, one day, when bending over a pool to wash the crud, mud, and slop from his burly bebop beard, something quite startling appeared to be sparkling. Glimmering, shimmering, down in the bottom of the pool. He felt a queasy quiver, sending shivers to his core, and his skin began to tingle through every single pore. It was all shiny and bright. It seemed somehow to beckon to him, so he reached down and picked it up. It seemed to want to linger in his cloven fingertips, and he felt the sudden surge of some deep magnetic urge and drew it to his lips. Marsyas took a breath and blew. With that note, the non-stop drums stopped, and all his objective perspective began to give way. One by one, all of Earth's children came under the sound sway. Lilies, poppies, primrose and mint, daisies, dandelions, and hyacinth nymphs, butterfly sprites on gossamer wings, the birds, the beasts, the creepy crawler things, those with coats and jackets, feathers and shells, each and every one came under its spell. Even most magically, the cosmic zombie groupies stopped and gravitated to the new confounding sound. Their bloodshot eyes widened, and they all sat down and listened, spellbound by Marsyas, the little satyr, laying it down. All of nature's children were captivated. With croaks and caws and hees and haws from their feral jaws, using paws and claws, they gave applause. And with each ovation, Marsyas absorbed their adoration. They cried, "Encore! Encore! Please play some more!" And so the enchanted troubadour took all the praise for the magical music the horn had displayed. Until, without any shame, he openly proclaimed,
By the gods, I swear I am the greatest, and Marsyas is my name. I don't know how I become a great virtuoso, but now that I am one, I certainly know so.
Now sitting among the birds, about 4 rows back, near the center aisle, was the raven.
Hi there.
Raven was the confidant of the one god who outshone all the others, even Zeus himself. The god who was as close to perfect as any god can get, without slipping into monotheism, I mean. Everyone loved, dashing, handsome, suave, debonair, symmetrical, balanced Apollo. Perfect smile, perfect charm, perfect buttocks. Desired by all, envied by all, balanced, symmetrical, perfect buttocks. Now Raven brought the news to Apollo of Marsyas' most perfect music, saying,
Man, everybody's gathered around to hear this Marsyas play a magic horn. He's boasting that he's the best there is, that he is the perfect music maker.
And Apollo, who after all was the god of music, became concerned. For categorical logic imposed this condition. There can only be one ideal and perfect musician. And Apollo began to get perfectly annoyed. Getting Apollo annoyed was a very, 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 very bad thing.
What was the matter with this bestial satyr?
So naturally, Apollo, who was the god of music, the best musician in the universe, decided to fly down to the earth and do something about it. And Apollo landed and listened to Marsyas.
Not bad,
said the perfectly handsome god of the sun.
Now, let me try.
And he took out his lyre and tore over that fretboard like it was on fire. Confident that the horn's magic would continue to work, the satyr sat by with a nonchalant smirk, Then, winking at several nymphs who seemed very eager to meet him backstage after the concert, Marsyas, puffed with conceit, said,
Apollo, why don't you just sit down and listen and learn? Then I might even let you have a turn.
At first, Apollo was merely amused by the satyr, so this haughty manner was met with light laughter. For perceptive Apollo had already discerned that none of Marsyas's talent was in fact earned.
How dare you treat me with such dismissive scorn?
Cried Marsyas under the ego-expanding spell of the horn.
I am the greatest, do you hear? Just listen. Dig that, man. That's pure Marsyas. I played that. And it's further far star out than any lick you can lay.
You should give credit where credit is due. The heavenly song comes from the horn, not from you. You are under a spell, you poor bewitched satyr. So why don't you just renounce that horn now and avoid your disaster?
You think you're so cool just because you're a god. Well, I can prove how great I am against any odds. Accept my challenge, and the winner, which will be me, the supreme music maker, will forever be. Unless, of course, you're so afraid that you'll find yourself completely outplayed. Since your divine reputation is a con and a farce, why, I can play sweeter notes with the wind from my arse.
As you wish,
said offended Apollo.
Providing one condition is followed, that the winner can do whatever he chooses to the musician who finally loses.
Now, Marsyas agreed, not heeding what was said, for the spell had by now gone completely to his head.
I will sooner jump right out of my skin before the day arrives when you will win.
Very well. As you wish. Now, let our contest begin.
And so, with Calliope and the other muses of the arts sitting nearby as judges, the god and the satyr began to wage musical war. Conflicting cacophonic atonal randomness. Rampant riotous rondo riffs, flurries of augmented flatted fifths. Multiple free-form key harmonics, disjointed time signature despotics.
It was terrible! It was awful! Oh, those boys was making noise! And with each crashing, smashing, bashing beat, each one refused to admit defeat!
Oh, ye gods!
Calliope cried.
Stop! 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 In your jewel, you have rewritten every musical law, and so we judges declare this round a draw. Think of another test to see who really is the best.
Then Apollo said,
Right. Well, why don't we, I don't know, sing and play a song at the same time?
and Marsyas agreed. So Apollo took out his favorite lyre and began to sing.
If I look like some kind of Greek god, well, baby, that's 'cause I am one. God of music and poetry and the rising sun. Without a bandage or a suture, with my eyes closed I can see the future and all kinds of neat stuff.
He's a god, he's a god, he's a god.
People just can't seem to worship me enough. No matter what I do, even if I cough or sneeze, everyone believes it must surely be some kind of sign or divine revelation or emanation that's really profound. My oracles astound, even though they say so little with their ambiguous riddles.
He's a god, he's a god, he's a god.
I create beings who sing for eternity, hymns of praise to me with words like,
you are the greatest God there is, and we're not saying that just because you will make really bad things happen to us if we don't, but because we sincerely want to. After all, you created us to do nothing but stand around your throne and groan about how blessed, bloody great you are.
I've got shining eyes!
Apollo!
I've got curly hair!
Apollo!
I've got an incredible physique! And quite perfect buttocks. In all modesty, it's great to be.
After singing this song while accompanying himself on the lyre, Apollo respectfully retired, saying,
Now, you sing and play something, Marsyas.
Well, Marsyas looked around. The nymphs were all winking invitations. The fauns were holding their breath. The satyrs were sitting on the edge of their seats. All the wild children were willing him on. His simple equine mind was clouded by his swollen ego, his eyes blinded by this adoring crowd. Marsyas blew a kiss to the nymphs, juggled his fuzzy brows, let loose a cocky pony laugh, and finally put the shimmering, glimmering horn to his lips, thinking,
I will blow their minds.
But then Marsyas realized,
You cannot play a horn and sing at the same time.
and in that moment his overinflated ego burst, and humbled Marsyas came down to earth.
It was so embarrassing. Seriously, it really was.
Indeed it was. And so Calliope and the other muses proclaimed,
Apollo is the victor, and now it is his hard-won right to do just what he likes to the defeated satyr.
Marsyas, you boasted that if this day should ever arrive, you would leap for me right out of your hide.
And in one wrench, Apollo tore the skin right off of Marsyas's little horsey body. The stunned children of the wilds cried, "No!" But it was too late. Marsyas had met his fate. He dropped the horn and fell dead. his blood seeping into the ground, turning the clay red. And then Marsyas's grandmother, the earth, began to cry, her tears pouring forth from her ageless eyes to form a river with banks of red clay, where Marsyas's humbled spirit dwells to this day. Now the tale is told by those living near. If you hide by that river, the gods will appear. They go dancing past beneath the full moon, led by Marsyas, the satyr, still playing that tune.
You have been listening to Marsyas, the Hippest Satyr by Roger Gregg, featuring Morgan Jones, David Murray, Emer Forrestal O'Grady, Gertie O'Leary, Peter O'Kennedy and Roger Gregg. Dialogue recording by Mark McGrath. Marsyas, the Hippest Satyr was written, directed and produced by Roger Gregg. Find out more at crazydogaudiotheatre.com.